This Week in Startups is brought to you by Salesforce Essentials. Jumpstart sales and support by leveraging the world's #1 CRM at a startup price point at just $25 a month per user. Go to salesforce.com/twist for an additional 50% off and a free onboarding call. Squarespace. Turn your idea into a new website. When you're ready to launch, use offer code TWIST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. And EquityZen, the premier marketplace allowing private investors to access proven startups. Head to EquityZen.com/twist now to get started for free and get your minimum first investment cut in half.
Why do we do this? Why do we spend 2 days doing Founder.University, bringing you some of the best speakers in the industry, and try to help you grow your company when we have no equity in it? Well, yet. Yet is the key word. This is a way for us to get to know 60 companies that we think have the potential to go on to our accelerator, and our accelerator is a way for us to figure out if we found a company that we can put $1 million into, or 2 or 3 over the next couple of years. And so that's worked out pretty well for us. So Dave Samuel is a good friend of mine. He has a fund called Freestyle, and his partner Josh, and he founded that company to do something very similar to what we do, which is support the heck out of early stage founders. And the other thing we have in common is we both sold a company to America Online, and we've both painted our nails cobalt blue. Oh no, I'm sorry, one of us has cobalt blue nails. Yeah. Beautiful. We're going to take pitches from folks for 2 minutes each, or 2 minutes each, 3 at a time, and then Dave and I will give them our most candid feedback, and then we're going to rank each group 3, 2, 1. Yep. Through the lens of investable. How investable are they? Not how much do we like the founder, not how good the pitch is, or how driven the founder is, although those things might be factors. We just want to be candid with you. Don't come up and pitch publicly if you don't want candid feedback, okay? 3, 2, go.
I was the lucky one. I was the first one. So we are InEvent. InEvent is a software for events at companies. So we want to be able the central place where they host all the events. Our solution is made for creating the event from the scratch, and you have to plan, select the hotel, book all the flights, book all the rooms, make sure that everything is booked. So use the process also to bring people in, send the invitations out, plan all your budget, and use that for big corporations. So our customers today are big corporations. We started in Brazil in 2014. In 2016, 2015, we started in the US, and we are having some traction here. The goal is to use our solutions, which is the InEvent compliance, which allows you to manage all your calendar and events and fully sync with Salesforce and Marketo. Hospitality for manage your flight information so you know where you are. Also integrates with InEvent Pass. InEvent also has registration systems, the cross InEvent app so you can host and see all details, and the Start CRM. So far we are doing around $1.1 million in revenue. That's mostly in Latin America, and we're growing outside the world, so that's our objective in being here. We're selling to 12 customers, and all can bootstrap, so no investors at this moment. That's it. Thank you.
3, 2, go.
HOS 24/7 AI transportation system. So we started a year and a half ago with an electronic logbook system. We have a device that plugs into a diagnostic port of a vehicle, and it helps with compliance, managing driver's logs. Basically, don't overdrive, take breaks and stuff like that. We also have a fleet manager portal. Lots of compliance and fleet managers features, and we've been doing pretty good so far. Especially for a bootstrapping company, $1 million in sales, for 450 recurrent revenue per year. But we've noticed lots of inefficiencies in our clients' operations. They still use phone calls, emails, and faxes as main ways of communication. Inexperienced dispatchers is a huge problem for the industry. So you get the wrong load, you come back empty, you do it often, and you lose your business. Conventional freight brokers are going to be replaced with Uber Freight-like companies. They're super scared. And in order to solve this problem, we started adding AI dispatch tools to our current telematics and compliance systems. So basically, we automate communication and documentation management. For example, load statuses are updated using geolocation and AI captured data from shipping documents. Our load wizard automatically calculates the most profitable routes and loads, and we're pretty much increasing how many trucks can be managed per dispatcher. So we're hoping to transition our old-style trucking and freight brokerage operations to newer digital and, in future, self-driving operations.
Okay, 3, 2, go.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Williams. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Resa. We're based on the ripple effect. We call ourselves the Millennial Marketplace. So just flash forward, I used to be a reporter, and what I found is that as I was going into the industry trying to become a reporter, it was really hard to get opportunities to create content and also to get real-world experiences to do so. I wasn't the only one. In college, my peers and also interns that I would mentor felt the same way. So seeing this as being a huge problem in the industry for young people to be able to create content and get real-world experiences, I also noticed that brands were really having a hard time relating to millennials or young people and also getting high-quality content that they need in order to connect with them. That's where our platform, Resa, comes in. Resa is a content marketplace that connects brands with millennial content creators. Our goal is to help millennial content creators make articles, videos, podcasts, and photos for brands to use on their social media or their websites. We specifically target everyday content creators and also like micro-influencers and nano-influencers. So this is how Resa works. If you're a brand, you come to me, you say that you need to purchase content in order to do a campaign. We then help you with choosing millennials to work with. These millennials then have a set time frame of getting content back to us. They're also given guidelines, and then the millennials are paid after they deliver and after you're satisfied. Know what's going on? Okay, we'll just go there. So far, since starting this concept, we've generated over $150,000 in revenue. We currently have over 5,000 millennials from all across the world, and we also are garnering between 8,000 to 13,000 in revenue. And also in our pipeline, we're we continue to engage other big brands and closing with Northwestern Mutual, Marriott, WeWork, and also a local automotive manufacturer where we're from in Michigan. So this is how we make money. If a brand comes to us and gets content, for each piece of content, we take 30% of that from the brand, and then we give the rest to the content creator. In terms of our market, we believe that we can have an addressable market of $4.6 billion based on the amount of money that is spent on advertising from brands that are spending at least that are making at least $5 million in revenue and spending between 7 to 8% on that on marketing. In terms of our team, so we all have different backgrounds in media and journalism, but and thank you so much for the opportunity to participate today.
Well done. Big round of applause. All right, let's bring all three founders up. We have Resa, Haas247, and InEvent. Who would you like to ask a question to first?
I'll go with InEvent. So just clarification question. So I went to TED, and there was a TED Connect app, and I was connecting to the other people at TED. Your presentation seemed to be more corporate, but is it kind of like that kind of app, or is it if I'm working at Coca-Cola and Coca-Cola has an internal event? I just didn't understand that part.
So the whole idea is that you have Salesforce, right, and your corporation. You want to extend that to run the events. You cannot use Salesforce to collect leads and to do all the operational part. So it's really the CRM for events, and they're going to use Coca-Cola for the internal meetings, for the summits, for their customer-facing conferences if they have some. Also trips. If you're going to travel, there's actives to a summit, something, or incentive travels. We all do in a single platform. That's the whole idea.
Okay. Great. For Resa,
Yes.
Tell me your name.
Ashley?
Ashley. So is this a tool for managing influencer campaigns, or is it a tool for just finding content? In other words, do you do the matching of an influencer with a brand so that they can, on their own Instagram page, talk about Coke Zero Vanilla, or Or are they just making the content for Coke Zero Vanilla and then they'll use it however they want at Coca-Cola?
Yeah, it's both. So we want it, and also with developing different AI technologies that will be helpful for them to understand how the content is performing and to be able to have like a dashboard of metrics for them to see so too.
Great. So you've also sprinkled AI on all this?
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. Just sprinkle some AI on it. It's funding closed. And here's the thing for founders. Everybody took the red pill, so we'll just make sure everybody's super intellectually honest about this. Be careful when you say AI, because I want to meet your AI developer. So do you have an AI developer, or do you
We're
have?
in the process of that.
Okay, so you don't have that actually, and do you have it? Let's go over to Haas for a second. Pass the microphone. Tell us your name, Haas.
Dimitri.
Dimitri, do you have an AI developer on staff?
We do.
What's their name?
Michael.
What's his background?
He used to work at Pearson.U, working on JMAT and stuff like that, and he also used to work at. He did some military projects.
Got it.
AI
Tell me
connected.
about the AI stack. What software do you use for AI, and have you implemented any AI in this project yet?
So we're using pretty much for communication system. We're pretty much using. We build on top of Twilio, and we use Abby for.
What AI software are you using?
So for example, for scanning documents, we're using Abby, and for internal AI for calculating loads, we're building on top of Google.
Got it. Have you launched any AI products
so-
inside the company?
So we haven't launched anything yet.
Okay, great. That's it. That's all I want to know. Yes or no question.
It was a quick one.
Well, just for Haas, so it seemed like you started with the hardware device, and then I was inferring that it was a pivot to a new project. Is that kind of how it's looking like?
So we've learned, we saw a lot of inefficiencies in our clients' operations and pretty much decided to help them to increase efficiency and productivity.
Is the hardware part of that future piece? Because the hardware piece didn't understand how you would know the load.
It is part of the future piece because it gets a lot of data. We capture a lot of data through the hardware.
Okay.
And that's not your hardware device. That's just an off-the-shelf commodity device.
We actually
that you've done software on top of.
Yes, we actually support multiple hardware manufacturers right now.
Perfect. The $1 million in hardware revenue, is that for 2019, over the last 12 months, or to date?
It's we launched a year and a half ago.
So it's 18 months?
It's total revenue, but
over 18 months.
450, it's actual annual revenue.
Is that 450 annual revenue part of the $1 million, or is it on top of it?
Yes,
Okay.
it's part.
What was your revenue last month?
It was 42.
42K. Okay. And how much of that was hardware? How much of that was software?
It was recurring revenue was 42. I don't know. I would have to check our hardware sales.
So I'm just going to give you some more tips. When you're answering questions, concise, answer the question. Always listen to the question and answer it in as few words as possible. One of the things we practice in our accelerator. And then whenever presenting numbers, be as clear as possible. So when you see 1 million plus 400, we assume you have 1.4. If it's a subsection of that, then a stacked graph, a stacked bar graph, a histogram by month would be the truest. So anytime you're dealing with investors, especially ones who are good at what they do, if you give numbers, they're going to be doing formulas and banging on those numbers and asking for the raw data at some point. Make sure it's tight, present it as tight from the beginning, and it's okay if it's imperfect. So showing a spiky chart, at this stage of company, pre-Series A, that's what we would expect. And that is, in fact, the opportunity. If it was a perfect linear up and to the right, tripling every 3 months, every 6 months, you wouldn't need to have seed funders. You'd be profitable. Scaling sales is so hard. My startups are struggling to build their sales teams and increase the number of leads they get. It's hard to scale sales. We all know that. But you also already know that Salesforce is the world's #1 customer relationship management platform, which is also known as CRM in the business. And now with Salesforce Essentials, you get an easy out-of-the-box tool and support all at a startup price point. And that's the key here. Salesforce wants to engage startups, and they're willing to give you a great price, which I'm about to get to. And the benefits include instant setup, and you can easily scale your sales team with just a couple of clicks. You don't need to code, and you will get simple integrations that connect and integrate all of your data under one roof. You'll have full cycle customer support, so you automatically connect multiple support channels in one place, and you'll be able to automate busy work and repetitive tasks so you're not wasting time and money. Also, your customers can help themselves with a self-service support website. That makes it really easy breezy. Everything you need is on one screen, so you can track emails, calls, and meetings just from your inbox. Super easy. Get access to the world's #1 CRM at a cost fit for a startup. So here is your call to action. Go to salesforce.com/twist and get a 50% discount with an annual contract, and you'll get a free onboarding training session. Salesforce wants you to succeed. They want you to take that training session. They want to give you 50% off. They want to see you grow your startup, and they want to grow with you. So thanks again to our friends at Salesforce for supporting independent media like This Week in Startups and the founders who listen to it, who are struggling and fighting and grinding it out there, trying to build their sales teams. That 50% discount really does help. So go to salesforce.com/twist and get this offer while it lasts. Okay, let's get back to this amazing episode. Dave, any other questions? No more questions. Okay, we're going to rank now. So the easiest way to do this is to pick which one you love the most and then work backwards. I have one question for InEvent. We pass the microphone. You said you have 1.1 million in revenue. What was revenue last month? $96,000 last month. And how much of that was software as a service revenue versus, say, ticket place or marketing revenue?
So all the revenue comes from software, so we don't charge per ticket.
Okay.
All comes from, and 20% is a professional service and 80% as the license
Okay,
itself.
so you have some professional services blended in there.
Yeah.
So of the 96, maybe 80 of it is software, maybe 15 in professional services.
Yes.
So the 80 that is software, how many unique customers does that represent?
That represents 5 customers.
You have 5 customers, so your average customer is spending 10 or 20K?
So the annual contract value is 23,000 per
Okay.
customer. Yeah.
So 5 times 23 is 100.
Yeah, in average, because those customers, they pay a little bit less.
Got
so
it.
the overall, if you take the year, that's going to be 23, but last month was 16.
Okay. And so I was giving you an example of when you start doing math, investors are doing math in their head, and they're looking for what doesn't make sense. So never, ever exaggerate, spin, or in any way doctor numbers. Just be super candid about it and explain it up front. So when you have professional services and we take out 20% for professional services, it's like a letdown. Like, those aren't reoccurring. Okay, who's your number? You got your number 1, so then you just got to pick your number 2 and your number 3.
Yes.
Okay. Go with your number 3 first.
My number 3 is InEvent. Am I giving description why?
Sure.
I guess for me, I've just seen lots of plays within the space, and I'm still challenged with basically the size of the market. So I think it's great what you've done in Brazil, but I'm going with number 3.
Okay, my number 3 is also InEvent. It's impressive that you have revenue. However, we've seen collectively dozens of people in this space, and we've never seen one of these companies, with the exception of Eventbrite, hit any kind of relative scale. And they did it by giving the software away and charging for tickets. Who's your number 2 and why?
Resa. I have 6 kids, ages 10 through 15. They only do YouTube and Instagram, and so I do think there's something there. There's been lots of plays within the space. But I know that these brands, Coca-Cola or whatever else you had up there, are trying to target these kids. And so that's my second one.
And my number 2 is also Resa. And I think I have a similar thinking on it. There's definitely something here. We have 5 investments in this space.
And how many kids do you have?
3. None of them are on social media yet, but the 9-year-old is fascinated by it. And I think being a software platform is a good business. We have 2 investments in that, Captivate and Grin. One of them is a marketplace and software. One of them is just software. And then we have a bunch of other ones, including, Statosphere, Posty, and Get Little Bird, which was sold to Sprinkler. So I would pick, if you're going to be the marketplace of content, that's enough of a battle. If you're going to be a marketplace of influencers, you're up against a big stack of competitors. I think you know that. And if you're going to make software, if you're a software developer and you love developing software, then go for that. But there's companies like Grin or Sprinkler or whatever just doing the software. So you got to pick one of these, because going into 3 different businesses might be result in you getting no market share or 1 or 2% market share in each one. And then that leaves number one, HOS 247, or would you like to say HOS 247?
It's actually a common term in transportation.
What does it stand for, the term? Use the microphone.
Hours of service.
Hours of service, 24/7. Got it. Okay, and why did you pick that as number one, Dave?
It's a massive market. Freestyle is actually trying to figure out how to make a play in this area. There's already some very well-funded folk, and so seems like you knew, about the market, and it's just kind of like, how do you really go to market? Because there are definitely some well-funded folks within this, but once again, it's a very massive market.
Yeah, and I think it's a massive market, and I like the fact that they have hardware as a solution, software bundle. We hate, generally speaking, here in Silicon Valley, people hate hardware. The only company that's ever made that really work at scale is Apple, of course. All the other hardware companies have had a really hard go of it. But when you combine hardware plus software as a service, well, it gives you the ability to lock people in and maybe even have some more margin and maybe solve problems that are even deeper. So let's give a big round of applause. We had the same voting. Good job. Next three. 3, 2, go.
Hi, my name is Christopher. I'm the founder of Nui Foods, where we make cutting out sugar ridiculously easy, tasty, and fun. And so 3 years ago, my co-founder and I cut out the sugar and went on a keto diet. And we found ourselves at a coffee shop, and we're talking about all the benefits. I felt amazing. He lost 40 pounds. And we're ordering our coffee, and the cashier asks us, would you like anything to eat? I look in the bakery case, and it's full of cupcakes, brownies, and cookies, all the stuff that we couldn't eat. And so we were like, oh, this is painful. So we go to my mom's kitchen, throw on some aprons, borrow her oven, and with no baking experience, created the world's first keto cookie. And we found it really easy from there to stick to our diets. And they're made with almond flour. They're sweetened with monk fruit. There's less than a gram of sugar per cookie, and they taste amazing. And so we wanted to see if anyone else had a pain point like ours. We ran 2 Kickstarters, got 80,000 pre-orders, dollars in pre-orders, and we grew our following on social media over 100,000 people and have over 40,000 customers. And we learned a lot from them. We learned that they want to lose weight, they're trying to cut out the carbs, and they're trying to control the blood sugars. And our goal, so we saw this as bigger than a keto product. Our goal is to be the Nabisco of low-carb snacks. So cookies are just the beginning. So for y'all, if you can just go back in time, think about your childhood, the most indulgent thing that you can think of, maybe it was a brownie, maybe it was a Twinkie or a Ding Dong. We can make that happen. We have 2 food scientists that just came on board from Quest Nutrition, and they're very technical and around the fiber space and the sweetener space. And so now we can make all those indulgent things that make happen without the sugary consequences. Thank you.
3, 2, go.
Life as an independent developer can suck. Contracts, payments, scheduling, opportunity inequality, career progression. Developer Fair's mission is to create the best possible experience for independent developers and the clients that work with them. We're building a full-stack vertical marketplace where independent developers have full oversight over payments, guaranteed and see work availability. They can easily manage their schedule, plan time off, and get dedicated support. Participate in a collaborative community where their work is peer-reviewed and they can earn benefits. And here's an example of a business. This business spent over 50K on an agency developer. 4 months in, they discovered that nothing real had been built. When they eventually started tracking the work, this is how they tracked it. Here's a client that we have. We give the client back real trust, insight, and control. We're the home for their software project. They have full insight over the progress of their project, and they're directly involved in the software development process. They even have full insight and control over their technology stack. Here's one of our clients, Mark. He's really, really, really happy. And here's our team. I run a first responder charity where we respond to medical emergencies before an ambulance arrives. Jonathan has been the lead dev on not 1 but 2 acquired startups. Ed has run a dev shop, and Michael has significant industry experience. Over the past 12 months, we've done 55K revenue, 10K MRR with a 30% margin. We have 150K in our pipeline and are doing 35% month-over-month growth at the moment. We've bootstrapped to date, are now raising our first money, and the way to sum it up is that Uber broke the cab company cartel, and we are going to destroy the predatory dev shop and agency. Thank you.
Just, while they're setting up this queue here, if you've got cookies, always just hand the cookies out. I don't know. Yeah, of course you hand the cookies. Look, here's your pair of sneakers for you. Look at those. How did you know his? Look at that. A subscription box for adventure. That's not going to blow up or something, is it? All right, here we go. 3, 2, go, Pat.
I'm Pat Hines, founder and CEO of the Nomadik. We're the subscription box for adventure. We believe the more time you spend outdoors, the better you feel, so we give you the tools to help you do that. Each month, we deliver a themed box packed with innovative gear from premium brands with an outdoor challenge to match. We call it Trip Inspiration. Our key value props to our members are we help them discover new brands and cool gear. We get them inspired for their next trip with our fun box themes and outdoor challenges. You can get some of that information on the brochure in the box. And the last is the cost savings, where they get up to twice as much retail value compared to the cost they pay. This is our Fun in the Sun box theme. That hat is a Nomadik exclusive product only available to our members. For how we work with brands, we're a new marketing channel that helps drive brand awareness to a super targeted niche audience. We drive product engagement because our members are receiving, opening, and using the products. They're not sitting on a shelf in a retailer. And we provide some data to them. Right now, we give them aggregate customer data so the brands have a deep understanding of who's getting their product. We just launched our Product Insights feature, which helps brands get qualitative and quantitative product feedback so they can improve their product. There's some of the brands we work with. Traction, we're shipping out 4,000 boxes a month right now. From 17 to 18, we doubled our revenue. From 18 to 19, we're on track to triple our revenue. This chart on the right shows our MRR in the last 12 months. May of last year, we did 42K. May of this year, we did 130K. This is all bootstrapped with no money raised and no debt. Our business model is a monthly subscription with the ability to prepay. For our production and purchasing, we have a cutoff date. Each month on the 14th, we issue POs to the brands. We get product by the 20th, have it kitted by the 25th, delivered to the customers by the end of the month. And here's some of our unit economics. We have a lifetime value of $305 with a 42% gross margin, $50 CAC.
All right, let's hear it for Pat from Nomadik. And let's bring Joey from Developer Fair and the Cookie King from Nui. You've got a ton of great ideas and you need to turn them into a website. Of course you do. You need to share your brilliance with the world. And you're going to want to do things like blog or create content and share that. You're going to want to sell products. You're going to want to sell services. Maybe you want to promote a physical or an online business with e-commerce, or announce an event or something you're working on like a special project. Well, then you need Squarespace. Squarespace is the answer. It provides beautiful and customizable templates and also very powerful e-commerce functionality. Everything's going to just work, and you can buy domains from over 200 extensions. You're going to get great analytics, you're going to get search engine optimization, free and secure hosting, and of course, Squarespace has 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week award-winning customer support. They're not going to leave you in the lurch. You're not going to be on your own. Like if you hired some developer, in another country to randomly put up a website for you. No, you don't want to put yourself and back yourself into that corner. And here's Presh, just whipping through my CMO Presh, browsing the templates on Squarespace to create a website. And here he's choosing a photography template in this example, and he creates an active website within minutes. And what he does is he's captured all the beautiful images that he gets from using superhuman wallpaper because he thinks that's funny. And he made a website called superhumanwallpaper.com just as a joke here for one of our portfolio companies to show all the images they show when you get to inbox 0. You can create a website as fast as my CMO Presh, and you can make it as beautiful as the ones he's creating and as powerful, but only if you use Squarespace. So here is your deal. Get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain name, and they have over 200 extensions, and there's a lot of great domain names available. You're going to want to get in there and get a really good one. So go to squarespace.com and get a free trial. When you're ready to launch, use the offer code TWIST, and you will get 10% off that first purchase. Thank you so much to Squarespace for being one of my longest running and most supportive partners here on This Week in Startups. I truly appreciate it. Okay, speaking of great products, let's get back to this amazing episode. What is your name, Cookie King?
There we go.
Chris. Okay, give one of the. Wait, hold on a second. Let me pick.
Oh, you're going to choose.
Double chocolate or chocolate chip? Which do you prefer? You sound like a double. You seem like a double.
Oh, I'm a double.
You're a double kind of guy. We've hung out. Okay. Wow. So strong. Frederick. Oh no, Chris. What's your name?
Chris.
Yeah, Chris. What was sales last month?
So last month is 50K. We
Great.
had to do.
Great, 50K. That's what I'm looking for as a number. Great. And how many full-time employees do you have?
There's 3 of us.
How much have you raised?
179 family and friends round.
Got it. And where are you based?
Orange County, California.
What have you learned about food science? What's the most important thing, singular, most important thing you've learned about food science since starting the company 18 months ago?
About 2.5 years ago.
Okay, so
Yeah.
30 months ago.
Yeah.
In that time, what is the single most important thing you've learned as the founder of a food company in terms of food science,
Yeah.
not entrepreneurship, food science?
Water activity and shelf life stability is really important for growing the company.
Shelf life is important.
Absolutely.
Got it.
Well, we knew that it was important, but how challenging it is with natural ingredients.
So what the most important thing you've learned about food science is that shelf life is important and hard with natural. Let's talk to Joey, or you get the next question. Go ahead.
Hey.
What was my question? Oh, where are you selling this? Just online or?
Yeah, all online. So
Direct to consumer, DTC.
Direct to consumer and Amazon. Last year we did 1.4 million.
Of the 1.4, how much was on Amazon?
Like 30%.
Got it. Okay. Joey,
Hi.
where are you from? Dublin or
Ireland.
Galway?
Dublin, yeah.
Dublin. God love you.
Thank you.
I loved your pitch. I loved
thank
your
you.
passion. You got the war. So I'm just going to assess the first 2 founders here. And this is going to be incredibly hard. These are 3 incredibly strong companies. Carbs equals death and a keto cookie with 1 gram of sugar is hard, Joey. Hard to beat. But also showing what a disaster it is to outsource software is super important. How do you compare yourselves to Gigster, a phenomenal company?
Sure.
That I invested in.
With Gigster, you outsource everything. You got a project manager and you liaise with the project manager. With Developer Fair, you're actively building your project with the developers. You see everything that's going on and have complete insight.
Got it. So it's a collaboration tool, and you pay for the collaboration tool. It's a software play, not a marketplace. You don't take 10%.
It's a mix. We have been adding a markup on the developers, and now we're switching to subscription-based.
Got it. Why are you making that switch from the very lucrative taking 10 or 20% of the developers'
There's
fees?
a psychological barrier to per hour pricing. We don't want to take away from the developer's rate. We want to help them increase their rate, and we can take more money from the client.
Got it. What do you charge?
At the moment, we've been charging about 30% on the developer's rate. We are switching it now.
Okay, and what do you think the right price for, I don't know, a company doing 2 or 3 projects a year for a total value of $500,000, what do you think they will pay for the software to manage all that?
I don't know yet, but I'm willing to bet it's a lot.
Okay, so this is a great answer, by the way. When you don't know, to say that and to be credible in that way, and when you're pivoting, to own it, most founders would be scared. He's Irish, he has no fear. He is just going to say the truth, right? This is what we do. And that builds your credibility, so I just kudos for that.
Thank you.
I totally agree. Well, my question was around the business model, so it seems like you're adjusting it.
Yep.
I think you've answered my question.
Great.
Okay, so for the Nomadik, we've definitely seen lots of what I call X in a box, and it seems like, I don't know, the one that seems to be doing very well, it would be like Bark. The early one was the makeup one, which I think did not end up doing very well. And so I guess my question is does this, amazing your current MRR with what you've done to date, do you foresee that you continue to stay within the outdoor market, and that's big enough? I guess that's my main question. Is this kind of market size?
Yeah, so the outdoor recreation market's obviously huge. For camping and hiking gear specifically, it's about $5 billion. So our plan is to stay here for now until we max that out.
This box is relatively small. When I think of some outdoor activities, they're much bigger than this box. But we still think monthly you can fit things in a box of this size for outdoor.
Yeah, and we have some stuff on our roadmap to go with bigger size box, quarterly size boxes, more expensive.
Okay.
No. It's pretty good. It's a little bit dry. How do you deal with the dryness? It's like a little bit crumbly. You put a little more butter in there or something?
It's a little crumbly, but we're actually working on a 2.0 version to make it more of like a brownie brittle, where it's crispy on the outside and soft on the inside.
Yeah, it's a little dry. Is that the criticism you gotten back?
Yeah, we've gotten criticism like that.
But here's the thing: it's closer to a cookie than a cracker, so it's only got 1 gram of sugar. You sure?
Yeah.
I think some Theranos kind of situation, is it? Not 40 grams of sugar.
We ate 16 cookies a day for 7 days straight, and we got into ketosis.
Okay,
yeah.
Good enough. All right, my number 3 is Nui the cookie, and that's based on taste. You're probably number 2, but then I tasted it and I was like, I need more, so I need to see that 2.0 as quick as possible. Mm-hmm. You know how to reach me. Who's your number 3? Oh, you need a minute?
Well, now I have the cookie in my mouth.
What's your number 3 and why? Just expand upon it and why.
I'm going with developer fair because I see how you are attempting a pivot. I'm concerned about the pivot because there is, once again, activity within this space, and I'm not sure about the SaaS versus the marketplace. So, but it's a big market. But I'm going with number 3.
Number 2. Who's number 2? I picked Nomadik as my number 2. I have an aversion to the box space, but your metrics are undeniable, and they create some optionality. And so if you can get to 40,000 or 400,000 boxes, which 40,000 seems very probable, 400,000 seems possible. And so when we're evaluating companies, that's what's going on in an investor's mind. Is it possible? Is it probable? The closer we can get to probable, the easier it is to invest. If it's just possible, well, a lot of things in the world are possible. So I see you getting to that 10 million in revenue. That's, I think, very probable. And I think it's possible you get to that 100 million in revenue, but it's going to be improbable, but possible, if that makes sense. But I do think there's going to be some optionality that will open up here. All Trails is doing really well from what I understand with their software. There's a bunch of people who are doing campers in Airstreams, and there's a campground marketplace that's like Airbnb for campgrounds that's doing really well. What's the name of it?
HipCamp?
HipCamp is now getting a lot of press. So there's a lot of trends in your direction. The problem is, as a founder, people are going to look and go, okay, people want to spend more time in the outdoors. Where's the margin? Which is the best business? I'm going to place a bet in the outdoor space. Is this the best bet to make? Is a low margin box or a medium margin box that gets to, the passionate users, is that going to work or not? That's why they're probably looking at the Airbnb one, HipCamp, or other ones and saying, oh, that's a better bet. So just be cognizant of, you don't just have to win your vertical, you've got to win the category, right? So if you're going to make a transportation bet, are you going to bet on self-driving, VTOL, or Uber? So you're going to bet on today, 10 years from now, or 20 or 30 years from now with the VTOL. So that's, and it was very close between the two of you, okay?
I'm going with Outdoor in a Box also for number 2. What is my advice here? I guess my concern is just the ability to continue to be creative in what comes in this box. And then we're still, as a VC, we've seen so many X in a box, and we have not invested in any. But hopefully you're able to kind of navigate that. And as Jason said, I think it's great that you have 4,000 customers today. So congrats with that.
Thanks for the feedback, guys.
Yeah, I think this is one of the things to be super aware of as founders. And one of the things I work on with the founders in our accelerator. And just so you know, Dave's a feeder for me. We take the 100K check. We work with founders, try and clean up the story, figure out how it scales. And then someone like Dave comes in, and maybe every time we make 50 investments or 100, he may join us in one of those. So that just shows you how hard it is to get to the proper seed funds that do Series A or co-lead or lead seeds. And when he does, we know that he's going to look at, the downstream investors from us are going to look at what was the history of this category. And so as founders, we must understand the history. So if you're coming out with a search engine today, you have to know about DuckDuckGo and Google and even AltaVista. And you need to understand where you stand on the box space. So a quick slide here would be, and this is what I would mentor you if you were in the accelerator, is everybody in their mind in the venture community has box equals road to nowhere. Let's change their mind immediately. So I would go, we have 4,000 people paying for this box. Our churn is under 5%. And I know what you're thinking right now, investors. The box business is bust. Wrong. Here is where a box can print money. Let me show you why this is different. Boom. So you almost tackle it head on. This way, we're not sitting here going, oh, we in our mind are going, oh, this will never work. Like the event space company. We're like, oh yeah, we've seen 1 million marketplaces and software for event management, and none of them have ever worked. And by worked, we mean become $1 billion company, returned 100 times our thing, which means your number one is Nui.
I'm going with the cookie.
What do you think of the taste? Mouthfeel?
I actually think it tastes. I think it tastes great. I think the marketing looks good. I appreciate that. You're inventing something new. I have diabetes that runs in my family, and diabetes just across, at least even the United States, is a massive problem. So I think that large food companies, Hershey's being one of them, is looking for things other than Hershey's chocolate. And so I think there's a bunch of activity in the space. I don't really know it very well, but you're my number one.
Yeah, and I went the opposite. I went with developer fair, so we flipped our 3 and 1. And the reason, Joey, is even though you're pivoting, I think it's a super important space, and I think you're going to have ways to make money because there's so much need here, and there's so much profits here, that you can use the profitability from these developer gigs in order to fund and take the long road and the long game with the software. So I could see you making it super affordable, 1% of the cost of the product, or just $10 a month per user on the platform. And if you do 100 jobs on here, and in 50 of them you manage it and make a little bit of money from that on the side, to not dilute the cap table and to invest in the software, that's magical. So a lot of times VCs are like, stop doing any of this non-reoccurring revenue consulting, because they know when a company exits, they're going to just get judged on the software component. I look at it slightly differently. My problem, or one of the challenges that frequently comes up for early stage investors, is the company's running out of money. The company's getting diluted by doing too many rounds. So if I see a little bit of service revenue, if the service revenue and the consulting is helping you build the relationship with the customer, and it's helping invest in the product, and it keeps you from having to dilute the cap table or worry about money, these things, to me, add up to a good short-term win, but not a long-term one, and you're aware of that. So great job. Let's give them a big round of applause.
Have you ever wondered how to get on the cap table and buy and sell shares in private companies? I'm sure you have. Well, there's an easy place to do that right now. It's called EquityZen. Equity, E-Q-U-I-T-Y, Zen, Z-E-N. And EquityZen is a premier online marketplace where you can invest in private tech companies backed by top-tier venture capital firms and angel investors like me, okay? And you can do it long before they IPO. EquityZen is also for shareholders who want to get a little liquidity. Maybe you've been working at a company like Robinhood or previously Lyft and Uber, and you want to just get a little liquidity before those companies go public, Facebook, etc. Well, you can sell some of your shares on EquityZen and get cash and help out the private investors who are trying to get shares in these coveted, world-changing companies. Some examples of companies that are available right now on EquityZen before they IPO'd include Spotify, Sonos, Glassdoor, MongoDB, Cloudera, and PillPack. All of these companies did exceptionally well. I was able to use this a couple times in my career. I sold a little bit of my Calm in a secondary. I sold a little bit of my Uber in a secondary. It's a great idea if you're an angel investor or a shareholder in these companies, maybe to sell 10%, 20% of your position as they grow. So, listen, you can dollar cost average, and it's great for private investors who want exposure to this area to buy a little bit of those shares. Go to EquityZen.com/twist. And for Twist fans only, EquityZen is offering half the minimum investment. That's right. You can now invest just $10K as opposed to the previous minimum of 20K. But only if you go to this URL, EquityZen.com/twist. So you can dip your toe, you can get your feet wet, you can get your beak wet, just for a taste. This is for people who obviously are investors. You know there's risk involved, but hey, no risk, no reward. That's the story of my life. Thanks again to EquityZen for supporting my podcast and for lowering the minimum so people can get a taste. EquityZen.com/twist. EquityZen.com/twist. Let's get back to this amazing episode of Twist.
3, 2, 2.5, go.
Hello, my name is Andrew Nakach, and I'm the co-founder of Habitat Logistics. We power delivery for restaurants. You're probably thinking, why would Jason Calacanis want to fund another food delivery company? Well, I'm here to tell you why. While typical food delivery companies have high customer acquisition costs, poor unit economics, and incinerate Freestyle's money, we're the exact opposite. We don't have a consumer app. We serve restaurants. Here's how it works. A customer either orders on Grubhub, Uber Eats, or calls the restaurant and says, hey, I want a pizza. The restaurant pushes a button on our tablet, which pings us, and we send a driver to pick up and deliver their food. As far as the customer is concerned, they think we're the restaurant or Grubhub or Uber Eats. We're already generating over $100,000 in monthly revenue and growing 12% month on month. And that revenue is comprised of charging restaurants $5.50 per delivery, which we currently have a 28% margin on today, or $1.55, which fell off the slide. Now, the reason we've been able to have positive unit economics since day one is we found that 80% of deliveries come from customers who order from less than 10 minutes away from the restaurant. We only deliver these orders. We have a 28% margin today. We're currently building software to increase our utilization and nearly double our margin within the next 6 months. And if you take a step back and look at the bigger picture, restaurants only have 5 to 10% margins, but these companies on the left are charging restaurants 25 to 35%. And that's why restaurants call these companies the bad guys. They're sucking out all the margin from restaurants the same way that Groupon did to small retail. We're aligned with restaurants, and because we're going to win restaurants, we're going to win the food delivery market as you know it. We're Habitat Logistics. We power delivery for restaurants. We're already generating over $100,000 in monthly revenue.
3, 2, go.
Good morning. My name is Sydney Olenek, and I'm the CEO and founder of Duco. Before I moved to San Francisco to start Duco, I worked in Washington, D.C. in national security. Most recently was the Chief of Staff of Middle East Policy in the Office of the Secretary of Defense. And what I learned was that my colleagues in Washington were getting paid a lot of money to do consulting gigs. So we're a B2B SaaS marketplace reinventing the way that enterprises hire and manage high-end consultants for high-value projects. Our beachhead is our specialty, security, geopolitics, policy, and regulation, and market entry. So that's where we're beginning. Our paying clients today include technology companies, financial services institutions, defense companies, and consulting firms. While the entire global consulting industry is massive, hundreds of billions of dollars, we found that specifically for the very high-end market, it is very difficult to find and hire and manage high-end consultants. So today, there are traditional consulting firms, online marketplaces, and expert networks, and none of them do the trick for the speed at which enterprises need to move. So we're combining 3 models to create a market network where our clients can contract with ease and confidence. So we are a software as a service, a marketplace, and a network. So we can build trust, workflows, and give our clients a place to find and identify these high-end experts. So our product today, if you are an enterprise client, you can log in. You have access to hundreds of high-end consultants at your fingertips. You can chat with them directly. You can search for them, and you can see that we are removing the intermediary, and you can set up projects within our system. You can sign NDAs. Any additional contracts that you want can all be done right in our system. As soon as the project is complete, we pay the consultants. Our business model is it's $30,000 a year for the subscription, and then on. Thank you.
Big round of applause. Well done. 3, 2, go.
Yeah, hi guys. I'm Stefan. I'm the CTO and co-founder of a company called 23. We run a SaaS video marketing platform for marketing teams. So we're here and we're in Denmark. We have roughly 300 customers and AR of roughly $4 million. We are 40 people in Copenhagen, 2 people here. So our main kind of point is to see how the evolution of the marketing stack has gone for corporate companies. Every marketing team is starting to use marketing automation. They have analytics tools in the stack using CRM, CMSs, and we build a video marketing platform to kind of fit into that stack for their kind of growth and retention strategy. When we look at the video marketing space, a lot of that has been around kind of quality communication, so good storytelling, and our pitch is essentially to add the quantitative side to that, to actually be able to measure return on investment, do data-driven businesses. Looking at the product, we do a few different things. We let people power videos on their websites, kind of hosting, embedding videos, doing the right players so on. We also allow people to run their videos on social media platforms, including Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and so on, YouTube, animations. And we add data to all of this. So we obviously measure how people are using videos on their own platforms, but also bringing all the audience analytics, contact analytics of how videos are progressing on Facebook, YouTube, so on. We bring integrations, so we integrate already with Marketo, with HubSpot, with Zapier, with Salesforce, and so on. And so on and so on. Finally, we've added a webinar tool to the stack, so we run video on demand, we run live events, and we now also do webinars. Just a overview of current customers. We work with Spotify, we work with Audi, Carlsberg, and Rockwool.
Okay, well done. Big round of applause. Let's bring Habitat and Duco back up. And we'll go to our question round, since you have the microphone.
Still.
Of the 4 million, what is software revenue versus...
all of it.
It's 100% software? And how do you charge?
We charge, basically monthly, so it's like a subscription model. We run the platform. People start out, the webinar product starts at $200 a month. Our biggest clients are at roughly $150,000 a year.
So you're $200 a month all the way up to $15K a month.
Makes perfect sense, right?
Well, it depends on how many seats, but you don't charge by seats.
We don't charge by seats. So
you just kind of stick your finger in the air and then pick
size
a price?
of companies, right? So we have a standard inbound funnel, and then we have an enterprise sales team that try to basically amp it up.
Got it. What percentage is enterprise, let's say $20,000 a year and above, versus less than that?
Customer base between 5 and 10%, obviously revenue much bigger.
So 10% are whales in the system who are spending over 50K a year, something like that?
Exactly right. And the idea is then to kind of bring people in on the lower tier and obviously kind of grow them as we go along.
Got it. Of the 40 employees, how many are in sales?
I would say 15.
15, 1-5. So you have a SDR, outbound sales, director of sales, VP of sales, all that.
Yeah, so we have a sort of slim inbound team and then an enterprise team of 8 people.
Great. Dave, any questions?
Your main competitor is?
On the low end, YouTube, then Vistia, and then on the higher end, Vidyard and Brightcove.
And why the name 23?
It is the answer to the question, how many people do you need in a room in order for the likelihood of 2 of them to share a birthday to be higher than 50%? We've been called this forever. We started out doing kind of social media.
Well played. Well played.
That was a unique answer. I like that.
How many people have a birthday in December? Raise your hand. Great. How many people have a birthday in November? What? How many people have a birthday in October? How many people have a birthday in September? How many people have a birthday in the first 6 months of the year? Whoa, that is strange. How many people have a birthday in March? Okay, perfect. How many people's birthdays between March 1st and March 15th? How many people's birthdays between March 1st and 10th? 1st and 5th? Is your birthday March 3rd? Is your birthday March 2nd? March 4th? March 1st, that's what I said. Play along next time. Okay. Anyway, that was interesting. Okay, more questions.
For, I think it's Duco, you were talking about the business model, but we got cut. So 30,000 annual subscription. Just tell me, is it a marketplace or people are subscribing to get access to these consultants, or both?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it is a software as a service, and there's a marketplace embedded in there as well. So our enterprise clients, they pay us to log in, and then we help them manage all of their consultants. We take care of 1099s payments and things like that. But inside the inside the software, we have a marketplace of hundreds of consultants that they can hire.
So you're the payment stack as well as helping them find a consultant.
That's right.
Or they bring their own consultant, have them sign up, and you manage it through the system.
That's exactly right. So for example, if you were one of our clients and you met someone today that you wanted to hire, usually it takes 30 to 60 days to get them into your enterprise system. They can sign up with us and you can hire them immediately through our system.
So what other issues do you manage for me other than payment, contract, what, deliverables?
So anything that you would do over email, you can do actually in our system, and it's just much more organized, and you can share things with your teams. So NDAs are very big in security and regulatory issues, and so we can manage NDAs for you and your team inside Duco as well.
Just curious, how much of hiring these consultants is buying access and their networks versus buying their knowledge, in your estimation? So when Facebook or Google or somebody, hires somebody. Yeah.
That's a great question, and that's actually why I think that we're a good fit to manage this company, is because reputation and trust matters significantly, and I think probably about half the time people are hiring someone just based on who they are and who their network is and their reputation, and so we've built that into our product as well.
So almost an answer to my question. In the mind of the person paying this consultant $10,000 to do a project, how much of the time, on a percentage basis, are they giving them $10,000 for the words they write versus the access and the influence that person gives?
So to date, no one has used the access and influence via lobbying, though we can run lobbying through our platform.
Got it.
But oftentimes the person's name, it gives credibility to validate a product internally or externally for that company.
Got it.
So, for example, a comm shop could hire you to write an op-ed, and your
For how
name
much?
on that op-ed. It varies, anywhere from $500 to $10,000.
Wow. So you'd sell out for as little as $500. Because I know the reason I'm sort of leading you down this path is expert networks got in a lot of trouble because people were like, you could speak to somebody at a technology company with access to search data anonymously for $10,000 an hour.
Right.
And people were using it to make trades on public markets, knowing that there was only two possibilities. It was either Bing or Google.
Right. So the expert network space has very high compliance. We also have a compliance system and with what we do as well. The clients that we work with, it's actually not as big of an issue on insider trading, which is that threat, though we have worked with financial institutions and can mitigate that.
What's your revenue going to be in 2019? What was it for the first half? What will it be for the second half?
So we're not putting those numbers publicly right now. We're not raising at this moment, but happy to talk offline about that. But we're on track to at least triple what we did last year.
Okay. So 7-figure-ish range? Okay, got it. Go ahead, Dave.
And just lastly, if I am an expert consultant, I am likely on your platform and a few others. Is it kind of like I market myself in numerous places, or would I be exclusive to you?
Great question. We do not ask people to be exclusive. You are going to choose our marketplace because it's the only one today where actually the VP of an enterprise can reach out directly to you, and you can build that relationship and upsell, and essentially you can market yourself in a way that you haven't been able to on GLG and some of these other networks.
Great. Habitat. I was just a little bit confused on how you get the 550. First of all, it's great they have 100,000 in revenue, but you are. How do you get the 550? You're getting it from the restaurant, or when you said Grubhub? I was a little bit confused on where the 550 comes from.
So we have a billing relationship directly with the restaurant.
Okay.
Is that 100,000 mean $100,000 in food, or $100,000 $5.50 at a time, or your take rate of $1.50?
The 550 at a time.
Got it. So you've done about 20,000 orders.
Correct.
Over what period of time?
That's in a month.
Okay. So you're doing 20,000 in what city?
In Philadelphia, and we're in a small college town, Newark, Delaware.
Okay. And how many restaurants were active last month?
140.
What were the top 2 restaurants, and what percentage of the revenue did each one equal? Tell us the names and the type of food.
Cleavers, cheesesteaks, Philadelphia, baby, and dim sum and noodle, Chinese.
So the cheesesteaks was number 1.
Yep.
Of your 20,000 orders last month, how many were for the cheesesteak restaurant?
2%.
400 cheesesteaks delivered.
Yes. Well, 2% of, let me think.
20,000.
So they do about 30 orders a day. So 30 times 30, 900 orders. So
Got it. Okay, so they're doing even more. They're maybe 4% of your
Correct.
orders. Okay, got it.
My bad.
Now, what you just saw there was me doing a quick volley with the founder. It's kind of like being a detective. I'm just trying to like quickly rapid fire, see if I can trip him up. Oh, it's 2%? No, it's 4%? So it was 30. Oh, it's 30 a day. And you see he held up under it. So I know that these numbers are probably relatively correct. I also know that the founder knows how many orders the cheesesteak place had per month, which means they're on top of it. And we want to invest in founders who are on top of it, right? And so you just get that sense of competency. This restaurant, the Philly cheesesteak one, are you the exclusive deliverer of that?
They currently use Uber Eats for delivery. They're about to switch to us for Uber Eats.
So they're going to kick Uber Eats out.
Uber Eats can send orders or do the delivery too. So they'll still get orders from Uber Eats for 15%, and then we'll do the delivery.
Got it. Because I just ordered from Five Guys, and they, in their app, and they handed the delivery off to DoorDash.
Yep.
And I got a DoorDash link back, which was super weird. I didn't know that they did that.
That's DoorDash's Drive product.
So the marketplaces, we were unaware of this, have two products. You can do full cycle, get the order and the delivery, or just the delivery, or just the order.
Each one is different. I'm happy to go into detail with each one.
With Uber Eats, how does it work? You can just get the delivery, or just get the order, or both?
Uber Eats will either send the order and do the delivery, but they will not deliver orders that come from Five Guys app.
Got it. But DoorDash will.
Correct.
Why?
Because DoorDash uses it as a way to get the brands on board. That's why DoorDash works with 90% of the top 100 brands in the U.S.
Should Uber Eats copy that?
Uber Eats has tried it, and what they found is that they were delivering a lot of Grubhub orders in New York City, and that the opportunity cost to do orders at $5.50 was too high because their drivers are fully on demand.
Okay.
And are you building a direct-to-consumer brand, or when you deliver that Philly cheesesteak to me at college, I don't know Habitat?
You have no idea we exist.
Okay.
Who's your number 1 and 3?
For number 3, though I love the creativity of the name, I'm going with 23 because I didn't fully appreciate your offering within the space, though I do believe that video marketing will continue to be bigger. I guess I'm just concerned about a bunch of the established players within the space.
Okay, and my number 3 was Habitat. I think you're awesome. I wonder if this is a road to nowhere or not, or if this is sustainable, or if this is the bet you want to make in this space. I'm not sure, but I do appreciate that you have an opinion and a point of view. I like the 10-mile zone. Sometimes building a great business is what you don't do as much as what you are doing, and I think that that's very important and kind of brilliant. If you're just doing within 10 minutes, you can optimize around that. And my number 2 is Duco. I am fascinated by the space, and I love when somebody builds a marketplace with payments, non-disclosures, and just becomes like kind of a clearinghouse. It's like software plus marketplace plus payments equals less arduous and faster, right? So people love this idea of having all the payments centralized somewhere and having somebody vet it. And you would think an intermediary would be unnecessary friction and cost. What it turns out to is it's freeing because in a way you're validating anybody who's in the system as having some basic, And the same with developer fare. They're kind of like in their marketplace product, they're going to make sure that there aren't duds in there or like they're reducing risk. So there's something about reducing risk and management of these marketplaces, and I like the word you used, market network. Yeah, we're putting together software plus a two-sided marketplace plus payments. It's kind of cool. Who's your number 2?
Jason and I are flipped, so I'm going with Duco. It seems like you have an impressive background. I don't really exactly know much about the consulting space, but I think it is big dollars, and I'm appreciating a lot of things that Jason said. My number 1, though, I am concerned about the delivery space. I appreciated the way that you were answering the questions. I appreciate what you've been able to do within Philadelphia. I think that I'm concerned about basically the net margin dollars. I appreciate we were talking about percentages, but we still are talking about a small amount. It'll be interesting to see what Travis Kalanick is doing with Cloud Kitchen. I'm a huge believer in what he's doing, and can you somehow, insert yourself into that ecosystem and basically be even more efficient with your network?
We're going to be best friends.
Yeah, well, you should be best friends, it seems like, because that might be a good thing.
Yeah. And I picked 23. I know that the presentation was bad, and you didn't understand it because I didn't either, but I can infer, since I'm in the video space, what he's doing, because he said, hey, there's people who use a free service like YouTube, which has some amount of management tools, but it's one-dimensional, doesn't let you manage multiple video locations. And so when you're on the podcast and you see us put the videos on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, we have to then go reconcile all of that with a Google sheet, pull in all the data, and then say, here's what all the clips got, here's what all these got, and we don't even know who liked what clip. We're not trying to build that. So if you combine social automation tools, scheduling, hosting of videos, consolidating the metrics, that's basically what an internal social media video person is doing anyway. So I can infer that that's what you're doing, and you're doing it for a reasonable cost. And I would probably do this because the last 4 weeks we did 5, 4, 5, and 5 episodes of my podcasts. And it was supposed to be twice a week, and then they sold so many episodes that now it's 4 days a week. And then there's 5 clips from each, and then they have 7 10-minute components for the full episode. So we're releasing across 6 or 7 different platforms, probably 30 or 40 clips and videos per episode, times 140 episodes a year. So maybe 5,000 unique pieces of content go out, and then we try to consolidate all that in Google Sheets and understand how quickly we get to 150 or 200,000, and then we add to that 10 to 15,000 a month in marketing spend to promote the episodes, and it's a clusterfuck. And we're rolling it. We're kind of rolling it all ourselves because this tool doesn't exist, and we would probably use your tool. So that's why 23 is my number 1. Let's give him a big round of applause. Yeah, let's do it. And what you're going for here, just so you know, in this format, is everybody's like, oh my God, I can't explain my business in 2 minutes. I can explain any great business in 2 minutes. A great business can be explained in 1 minute. Any business I can explain in 1 minute perfectly if it's a great business. If it's a good business, it may take me 2 minutes. And if it's a bad business or a pivoting business or a confusing business, it can take me 3, 4, 5 minutes. We know that because we meet with companies, and when there's a great company, they're like, taxi cabs take 40%, 50% of every dollar. We're eliminating them with software. And you don't have to worry about payment. You don't have to worry about finding the cab because it's on a GPS map. And you can send your trip journey to your friends so they know when you're arriving. And you can gift to other people. Yeah, Uber is going to be huge. And like that was a 40-second description of Uber. There's really not much more to it. Hey, and if we make it work, we'll probably deliver food too. And there's a small chance that we could actually figure out with software, maybe in year 10, how to pull people around and have 2 or 3 people going from the airport and dropping them off sequentially to save them all money. But we'll see if that works or not. Like literally it's a 1-minute pitch of like 5 different products at Uber. So keep that in mind. If you can't explain your company in 1 or 2 minutes, something's wrong with your ability to present. You could just suck at it, in which case you can fix it. Or in more likely, you don't have clarity on your business. So when you see people fumbling on answers and you see people fumbling through their presentation and they're talking about their TED Talk or they're talking about what awards they've won, it's probably because the core business is not impressive. So if you're doing that and your core business is awesome, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. And we see that a lot with founders, is they try to put too much into the presentation. What matters is who's your customer, how much are they paying, how big is the market, what's unique about your offering.